Hi everyone, it's Rickey Chavez with Battle Ready, the show where we discuss opportunities as you try to reinvent yourself throughout the heartaches and challenges you have throughout your life. Today we're going to be talking to somebody that's somebody that's come on our show a bunch of times, and that's Dan Moran. Dan Moran's the owner of GOAT Athletics, and he's probably going to give me a bunch of crap about stuttering a minute ago. I'm going to let that go. We're going to talk about opportunities where you have mentors. So one of our shows we talked about mentors, who he mentors, how he chooses his mentors, what his mentors do. And now we're going to talk a little bit about those hard conversations or maybe even those separations, whether it be from a company, whether it be from a person, because the negative energy maybe, but you love the person, but you have to do what's best for you and your family. You want to talk about that a little bit, Dan?
Yeah, so we're talking about employees and maybe an employee that's maybe I would say unfixable might be a good word.
Okay.
So I've always tried to manage and lead by four objectives: to be fair, consistent, objective, and timely. And really where it comes down to, I mentioned in the last segment, where leaders fail is they're not timely, right? And a lot of times they're not objective. And even if a person, maybe they go to lunch with this person, quite
Regularly.
often, and this
Yeah.
person, starts acting up. I mean, you need to have that conversation. You got to treat everyone objectively. You got to treat everyone equal. So again, I've always tried to handle situations head on. But let me give you an example of an employee that I hired with my new company that basically got let go from the last company because of negativity. And I knew this person in my heart was definitely salvageable. So we had a sit down before hiring during the interview process, talked to them and said, hey, here are my concerns. I said, I have people in the company that don't even want to hire you because of your past negativity. And I said, but I'm willing to give you a shot if the negativity surfaces again, it won't even be a long conversation. I will let you go. And that person right now is a stellar employee for us right now. Sometimes it's not just the employee, but the situation that they're in. And so I like to think of myself as a super fair person that communicates. Everyone knows every day where they stand. And if I was to give all my employees an evaluation today, I guarantee you they would lower their scores would be lower on their evaluation than I would give them. But again, they know where they stand all the time. So I think when it comes down to it, it comes down to just communicating all the time.
Well, and let me tell you what I want to kind of focus on in this thing is you had an individual that was having some struggles in the past. Somehow he got back in front of you and you gave him an opportunity, even with his luggage, but set the expectations, and now he's doing well. So sometimes it just takes that one person in your life, that can help you. I know years ago when I was in the military, I had some struggles. I was a little bit crazier, and I had one boss that he just wanted to get rid of me, and it was a lot of craziness, hostility, the whole 9 yards. And then in the military, you move every 2 years, so nobody gets complacent. So this other guy comes in, and he sat down and had a conversation with me, and this is 1985. I still talk to this guy today, Dan Cook. But he's like, Rickey, I know that there's a bunch of garbage going on about you. Just handle your business, kick butt, take names, and I got you. And fortunate enough for me, I was recruiter of the year for my brigade because he just had some faith in me. And you're in a position to help people with that, right? But I think you also do that from outside your company when you're talking to our friends or people that have been laid off or struggle. What kind of guidance do you give them? Because you've been through that. What's the guidance you share with them?
Well, I try to read people and find out where they're at. And I think even when you go back to whether it's people on a personal conversation or it's your employees, it's almost, and I'll call it situational leadership. It's trying to talk with them and decipher, you know, where are they at? I mean, did they lose their job? Are they feeling sorry for themselves? Are they the victim? Or is there something that they could have done to, um, to keep their job? For instance, I talked to a person recently that, they've been laid off from their third job in a row. That's obviously a red flag. So, in talking to this person, they hopefully they better have a great excuse of why they got laid off 3 times. And the answer of just, hey, I'm contract labor and it ended is not always a good answer. But I think what it comes down to, Ricky, is on the personal side, when I talk to people and even mentor people in a personal way, I think it comes down to just the fiber of who people are. Do you actually physically truly care about people, or are you just in it for yourself? In it to win it for yourself. And truly, I'm in it to in my organizations, since I've managed through time. I can't tell you how many of my past employees with other companies have, became leaders, presidents, vice presidents, CEOs of companies. And I'm not saying it was because of me, but I'd like to think at some point in time, I saw
Potential.
I saw the potential in them and was able to move them on. And certainly, I know CEOs that don't have a college degree, and I don't really think, I think it helps. I don't think it matters. It depends on what
I,
kind of person they are.
yeah, no, I very much agree with that. There's a lady both of us know that high school diploma probably makes more than some MBAs, and she's grassroots, started from the ground, excelled, never gave up, works all the time. And I know works all the time, you have to put yourself into your business. So now she's able to do much more things like travel. But the point is, she's never let anything get in between her. I'm talking about Angie, right? But I think that what you're saying that's really amazing is we have to make sure that it's situational. That means just because a person doesn't do well with one doesn't mean they'll do well with you. But I'm not telling you to be a bleeding heart, because that's what my wife calls me all the time. I give everybody
Right.
opportunity till they lose that opportunity.
Right.
But at my place in my business nowadays, that's just the way I'm able to do it. With you, what is some of the guidance you give your friends that have called you or reached out to you, say, listen, man, I'm struggling at work, I want to retire, or I am just got laid off or fired, or however you want to say it. What is the first kind of steps you talk to them about? What is it you say?
First you got to be empathetic, and sometimes that's tough for me. But what I would ask them right off the bat is I would ask some questions that would be leading of, what are you doing today to make yourself better? What kind of books are you reading? What kind of podcasts are you listening to? What sort of further education, are you looking at? Whose fault was it? Were you the victim, or are there ways that you can get better? And I'll actually ask the tough questions to them and say, no, but look inside yourself and figure out, what can you do to get better? It's not the world against this person.
Sure. I know, and sometimes, especially with people that are real close friends, some people can't separate. They get emotional, and I understand you said empathy earlier, but I think the big thing for you and I are quite a bit alike as far as that goes. They need to understand it's not personal. We're talking. We want everybody to be successful. That's kind of why we even came up with this show. That's why you were, I felt like you were a perfect person for the pilot, is because you've picked yourself up from the bootstraps. You've kicked butt. You've done well. You had some struggles. You hit a wall. You evaluated yourself. You worked with your peer group and people you networked, and now you're in a position where you can just help others, right?
Right.
I know that one of our other shows that we're going to go to in a little while is going to be talking about leadership, and I know you love that. Um, but I think out here, are most of your employees 1099 or what are they? W-2?
No, they're yeah, W-2.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. And so, and is there some ideas you can give to people in regards to searching out an opportunity to become an entrepreneur?
You know, I don't think it's for everyone. I look at it and I've opened two companies, and made money within the first year on both, and know how to drive the bottom line. One thing that's super important in business is not your ability just to have a great idea and go out and sell or have customers. I mean, obviously that's super important, but you got to be able to drive your bottom line profit. If you can't make profit, you're going to lose money. So you need to understand a balance sheet. You need to understand an income statement. And before you put anything together, you need to run a 3-year pro forma. And basically that's taken, the revenue line of how you're going to make money, put in all your expenses. And it's just basically a flow chart of 3 years of an income statement, of how you're going to be successful. And don't fool yourself into optimism that, hey, it's going to happen. You need to look on making money. You need to look at the facts, and you need to look at the actual costs, and definitely go on the high side of those actual costs to be able to do that. But understand the financial side of it. I think we all, man, we live in Houston, Ricky, and driving around the city, we see businesses that open all the time, and you look at, something on the corner where they've got a high lease on the retail. It's probably $2,000 a month, and they opened up, a one chair
Barbershop?
Haircutting for male. There's only one person working in there. It's set up for failure. Unless they can integrate something into it that's different, something else that'll drive revenue. But look at those things. Number 2, I would say, get into a business that you're passionate about. If you're not passionate about it and it doesn't drive you, and it's not your life, then don't do it. Because you need to love it. I can guarantee you, I work 6, sometimes 7 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day, and I love it. I don't feel like I work a day out of the week. I feel like I'm on vacation. Again, because I'm working with the best manufacturers, and they're not just manufacturers, they're partners. We partner together. And I'm working with the best employees, and
that you coached.
We're moving forward, doing the right thing all the time. I mean,
All right.
talk about being blessed. I'm super blessed.
There you go. I'm going to say, I'm going to bring something back real fast because we're starting to get short on time. But you were talking about performa and stuff like that. And I know you've been doing this for a long time, but for the brand new person like you, when you were first looking at it, I'm sure it looked like gobbledygook, but there's so many tools, and the efforts were all yours to learn how to read a performa, correct?
Right. Sometimes you got to live it before you know it, because you can put down a line list
scenario
for, a listing for, hey, what's my building lease going to be? But don't forget about the ancillary things that go along with it. You might have water, garbage, electricity, cable, internet. Depending if you have cable and internet, it might be through one provider, but there's other costs in there. There might be association fees. There might be things that don't get you. One thing to look at too is structure your business, put in X amount for legal fees, because you set up a business, I recommend going through legal counsel to get everything set up right, so you're not getting,
leaving yourself open.
hurt by the authorities, right?
Sure.
Also put in accounting. You don't want to be responsible. You'd rather have some other company signing off and saying, yeah, this is what we're sending to the IRS, and basically that gives you a buffer, right? And it gives you confidence that you're doing things right, and that especially if you're new, the accountants and the lawyers will help you stay out of harm's way and run your business correctly.
And you did it back when it was all this, not all this internet and Google and this, that, and the other. But I think one of the points I was trying to make was, in today's world, there's so many tools out there to help people understand the different tools they need to go through the business. And then many other business owners like yourself, will have conversations with people that are trying to start business, because I've heard you do it in the past. So
Right.
we appreciate that.
Right.
We're starting
Right.
getting low on time again. I appreciate you being here again, Dan. We're going to visit you again, I know, later on in the series. But we're going to go ahead and take a break real fast, and we'll be back with everybody in a few.